maybe you shouldn't be so hard on yourself all the time. It's really good to have a goal, to have a dream, and to push yourself to achieve the dream. So by no means am I telling you to not have ambitions, to not have a drive, to not have an overall goal. That's absolutely something you should always have, because if you don't have a goal or if you don't have a direction, what are you even really doing? You know, if you're waking up, no plans, no goal, no end vision in mind, genuinely, what are you doing? Because if you're not growing, if you're not striving towards a goal, you're stagnant or you remain in place. But you got to remember, just because you remain in place doesn't mean that time remains in place. Time will pass by no matter if you go on to be the most successful person in your bloodline or if you stay exactly where you're at. Right? So even if you're quote unquote stagnant, you are deteriorating. Either you're growing or you're not. And I can safely assume that a majority of you want to keep growing. You don't want to remain stagnant. It's an overwhelming majority of people. I think very few people would answer that question saying that they don't want to grow at all. Like, and I mean like at all. When I say grow, I don't always mean money. But don't you think you could be a bit more healthier? Don't you think you could look a bit more attractive? Don't you think you have a better physique? Or like what I feel like a lot of people probably think, don't you think you can make more money? So money is not a bad thing. Money has never been a bad thing. Money is simply a tool, and it's either working for you or it's working against you. That's simply what money is. Anyone who says money is evil that's just a very bad way of looking at it. Like, no matter if you think money's evil or not, we all need it. We all need it. I mean, you see this car here. You think I got this doing nothing? You know, everything costs money. Money is a part of our lives, so there's no point, there's no reason to denounce it, to look at it as if it's some type of fucking evil. It just doesn't make sense, right? But back to what I'm saying. You obviously want to be self-aware. Self-awareness is key to just living a good life. All right, you can't just walk around not understanding what you're doing, why you're doing what you're doing, not understanding where you're currently at. Like, you can't just wake up one day and say I'm a billionaire and then literally just doom scroll the whole day as if the billions are just gonna fall into your lap. That's just not how this thing works. So self-awareness is important, but I found that in my past, whenever I did my best to achieve a certain goal, I went about it in very extreme ways. And I'm not saying that it's necessarily a bad thing. Like, when I first got into really good shape, the first time I could ever actually like comfortably take off my shirt or take off my clothes and be incredibly proud of what was underneath my clothing, be incredibly proud of myself naked. I went to extreme measures, and I was very hard on myself. I didn't eat any carbs, no carbs. It wasn't even really like full carnivore because I would still eat things like avocados. I'd still have like salads. When I say no carbs, I don't literally mean no carbs, but I mean like no bread, no rice, no potatoes, none of that, which isn't as bad as you'd think. It's like, in terms of health wise, ketosis, following a keto diet actually has its benefits. It really does. You can go online and do the research. A perfect example of someone who lives on the keto diet is King Keto, Brandon Carter. And I've seen him post plenty of shorts, plenty of YouTube videos in regards to the benefits of keto. So that in and of itself isn't a bad thing. Like, I don't look back and think to myself, why the fuck did I do that? But is that really the way I want to live the rest of my life? Like, do I really want to prohibit myself from carbs for the rest of my entire life? It's possible. It's absolutely possible because I've done it before. But is that really how I want to live? At this very moment in time, not really. So why even subjugate myself to that? Why even subjugate myself to something that I don't really want to live? I still want to be able to eat, obviously reasonably. Like, me saying not to resort to these diets doesn't mean that just eat whatever the fuck you want. No, absolutely not. I mean, you could eat whatever the fuck you want. Just be prepared for the consequences that come from those actions. All right, all of your actions have consequences. The consequences of me doing keto was, yeah, I got into really good shape, but now I was severely limited as to what I could eat. And when you go out with friends or family, or when you're going out on a date, You know what I mean? Like, you can eat, yeah, you can go to steakhouses and whatnot. You know, you can get yourself a nice ribeye, and I'll never say no to a fucking ribeye. I love steak, but it ain't the only food in the world. You know what I mean? Again, I'm not knocking anyone who does do keto. There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I literally did it myself, and I've done it multiple times. Like, it wasn't just that one period of my life. I did it in 2024, I did it in 2025, and I even did it at the start of this year. But truthfully, it's like it's a constraint that I just don't find necessary anymore. Because at the time when I was doing keto, I saw it as necessary. I was like, listen, bro, you can't fucking eat rice. I can't trust you. You can't be trusted eating carbs. You can't be trusted eating anything that has carbohydrates in them. And at the time, I had a very different view on myself. I had a very different self-concept, very different self-image. And it was, obviously, on one hand, it was from a place of love, but it was also very restrictive. It was almost like I didn't trust myself, if that makes sense. Like, I didn't trust myself if I didn't eat keto. Like, if I wasn't on keto, I basically thought to myself, that's it, I'm not losing weight. Like, I can only lose weight severely limiting what I'm eating. And that's just not the case. That's not the case. That's actually why I'm no longer eating keto. I no longer consider myself a ketoist or on the keto diet, or definitely not a carnivore. And it's not because I don't want to be one of those guys saying that those diets don't have their benefits, because they absolutely do. I mean, I can't show you guys now, but if you go back to any video I posted in 2023, well, any video from 2023 that's after like April, all right, because at the start of January, I hadn't been on keto yet. Dude, I was in really good shape. I was really proud of the way that I looked, and it worked. It worked for me. But it's not, I don't find it necessary anymore. And I hope you can understand what I mean by that. Like, yes, you always want to have your best interests, and you always want to be self-aware. Like, I'm not going to get on here and say I'm gonna lose weight by eating nothing but cheesecake and cheesesteaks. What the fuck? That's not going to work. Or even if it does, that doesn't even sound fun, bro. Like, I can only eat one cheesesteak a day. A cheesesteak in and of itself is like 1,200 calories. Cheesesteak, what, one fucking slice? Damn, I cannot speak for shit. One slice of cheesecake, it's probably like 400 calories, bro. Yo, I can't fucking speak, bro. But seriously, you don't always gotta be so fucking hard on yourself, bro. You really don't. It's good that you have goals, and you obviously always have to set boundaries, but stop operating with almost like this passive aggressiveness towards yourself. It's just unnecessary. You might still get to where you want to be, but dude, I just found so much more peace in just being real with myself, just being real with who I am. Like, do I really want to be keto? Do I really want to be on keto for the rest of my life? No, I don't. Not because I have anything against keto. I just don't see it being who I am. Like, I just don't see myself being seen as the guy who's on keto. I just don't see it. I just don't. It just doesn't make sense to me. You know, like, I don't want a diet to be a part of who I am, or I don't want to be the guy who's, oh, he's a carnivore. At this very moment, now that could change later down the line. I'm not saying that I'll always be this way. But as of right now, realistically right now in this very moment, no. So why even put that restriction on myself? Why even put that restriction on yourself? Why? I don't see if there's no need to, why even bother? Plenty of people have lost weight just simply counting their calories, or even just being mindful of what they're eating. Like, if you're only eating 2 meals a day, and you're not going for seconds, you know, you're not repeating, you're not serving yourself a ton of mac and cheese or a ton of food that you know packs a ton of calories, like, bro, you'll be fine. You'll be fine. Now, there are still some foods that you should avoid. Like this mentality is not excusing me to eat donuts or pizza. No. I can just have a little bit of pasta, a little bit of potatoes, a little bit of rice. Like, no, it's not even anything crazy. Just like, why limit myself from foods that I've been eating majority of my life that aren't in and of themselves detrimental to my health? Like, why even do that? Please, just stop being hard on yourself, bro. This is a message not only to me, but to anyone else in the same exact situation. Love yourself, bro. You're the only one who can love yourself more than anyone else. All right, your mom and your dad, they'll love you. Obviously, you have family members who love you, but they're not there every single moment you're alive. Like, they're not. My mom, I know she loves me, but she's not with me with every single decision I make. I'm with me every single decision I make. So please, just love yourself, bro. Don't. And this isn't even a form of self-hate, but just don't get in your way for no reason. You got this, bro. Easy.